Pokemon's pretty cool, right? Like, come on, it's a whole big thing. Everybody knows about Pokemon. Everybody's seen at least one Pokemon, can name at least one Pokemon. We all know which Pokemon, right? I don't know. Most people, I would say, have played a Pokemon game or have seen someone play a Pokemon game. Whether, it's their kid or someone on Twitch or, their friend, who knows, any sort of thing. I don't know, Pokemon's touched the hearts of a lot of people, myself included. When I was, just a wee little lad, I played Pokemon Red on my cousin's old Game Boy Pocket that he handed down to me. I guess he was too old or he didn't really have enough games for it. Got Pokemon Red at a half-price books, played the hell out of it. Not an everyday sort of thing, but I was always like, ooh, I'm gonna go get there. I'm gonna get more Pokemon. I'm gonna get more. I looked up guides, looked up where the TMs were, which moves I could teach which Pokemon, because they didn't have Nintendo Power or anything. But I don't know, despite the game's simplicity and super rough edges, I loved it. It's got an interesting history, cool development, some honestly really creative stuff. Like, there's a reason Pokemon is such a big franchise today, and it all started from, those original games. I did play Pokemon Red. Yep, like I said, never did really play Blue. I've never really been a whole fan of that whole version exclusive thing, where it's like, oh, buy 2 games and trade. It's an innovative concept, right? But, I'm only going to play one of the games, because functionally they are identical aside from about 9 Pokemon, right? But I'm getting sidetracked. So let's say, what's a Pokemon game without the Pokemon, right? And they're your little critters, they're your little friends. Go on an adventure, grow fond of them, and they grow to trust you. You trust them back, and you put your whole put your money on the line. You put your, I need to stop thinking of what this word is, because I cannot. Your reputation on the line is you and your Pokemon working together, they do the fighting, you do the thinking, you get this, you're an awesome team. But what if your Pokemon weren't battling another Pokemon? What if your Pokemon were fighting a horse-sized chimpanzee? Now, this might need some clarification. So, a horse-sized chimpanzee is not horse-shaped. It's just a chimpanzee the stature and weight of a horse. Now, no, a little chimpanzee is already scary enough on its own, but now we are making it horse-sized. And it couldn't just be a Pokemon versus a chimpanzee who wins, because usually it's going to be the Pokemon, because they've got water powers or electric powers. So we're leveling the playing field a little bit here, It's horse-sized now. You know what? And the horse-sized chimpanzee has a sword, but the Pokemon has a sword too. I understand that some Pokemon won't be able to use the sword, but I'm sure they can think of something. Besides, like I said, the chimpanzee is already at a massive disadvantage because it doesn't have magic powers. So I'm willing to give it a sword, as long as the Pokemon gets one too. So, we're only going to do fully evolved Pokemon. That's because, let's be honest, I don't want to talk about any pre-evolutions getting ripped apart by a horse-sized chimpanzee. That would just be like a slaughter. I don't want that. Alright. So let's think about it. Alright. Do I think Charizard could take a horse-sized chimpanzee? Yeah. I mean, it does have those wings, and it can fly and breathe fire. Charizard's super strong, pile drives, its opponents, breathes fire, bites them, does whatever. Honestly, I think that Charizard could take a horse-sized chimpanzee. It wouldn't even need the sword. If the chimpanzee could make a good throw with its sword, might be able to damage the wings or even hit him in the center of mass or the head, for extra gruesomeness, but I think Charizard ekes that one out. Cannot say the same for Venusaur. I do not think that Venusaur can defeat a horse-sized chimpanzee. I mean, for one, Venusaur is massive. Like, it's a big creature, and it's got, like, the vines, it's got the spores, and it's great. It's a great status spreader. But, like, but if you slapped a horse-sized chimpanzee with, like, a vine or some leaves, you think it's gonna care? Or you try to wrap it up? No, it busts out. Get your sleep powder, stun spores, not even affected. Like, this chimpanzee is on something else, dude. Like, you cannot take this guy down with, like, status effects. Like, you need to either outmaneuver him or out-damage him, or just rush him, bum rush him, because otherwise, it's not. Venusaur, I would say loses. Some people might say that Venusaur could defeat a horse-sized chimpanzee, but I don't see it. Okay. Blastoise. I'd say Blastoise and the horse-sized chimpanzee are about on equal playing fields, because like Blastoise it's got like the shell, it's got like the water cannons. It's a big, strong sort of creature. You wouldn't mess with a Blastoise in the same vein of you wouldn't mess with a horse-sized chimpanzee, or even just a normal chimpanzee, right? Because like you look at the Blastoise, like however many feet tall it is, you're like, I'm gonna die. You look at the horse-sized chimpanzee the exact same way. I would say that in terms of raw strength, the chimpanzee is a bit stronger, but in terms of raw defense, the Blastoise is a bit better. So I don't know, I could 50-50. I could see either one of those winning the fights. Butterfree? Nope. Sorry to all Butterfree fans out there, but Butterfree is not making it. Nope. Same problem with Venusaur, but like even weaker this time. Like you could say, well, Charizard can fly, Butterfree can fly. Well, like, yeah, but then Butterfree just can't do anything. It's up there with its sleep powder and stun spores and maybe some psychic attacks, but I don't think that it's going to be able to do much to the chimpanzee. And eventually, the chimp will find a way to take Butterfree down. And one good hit, and gone. Bye-bye Butterfree. If you know what I mean. Alright. Beedrill. Yeah. Nope. Listen, Beedrill's gonna do some massive damage to the chimpanzee, but I don't. It's not happening. Like it can fly, right? It can fly. Same thing as Butterfree. It can fly above, swoop down, carpet bomb him, but at the end of the day, one good hit from the chimp and Beedrill is down for the count, right? That's it. Beedrill's gonna do massive damage, but eventually, it's not gonna make it out. Best case scenario, they both go down, but Beedrill is not making out the fight alive, and there's a very good chance that the chimp is making it. Let's see, Sand Slash. That's an interesting one, because we talked about you would need to either bum rush or outmaneuver them. I feel like Sand Slash might be able to, like, dig underground, pop up, and like, with those enormous claws. It could work. Maybe it would work. You get them, and like, I don't know. I feel like Sand Slash is like, it's got like the spiky hide. It's got the big claws. It can dig. It can do all this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, is that enough to defeat a horse-sized chimpanzee? Maybe. Like, I don't know. I feel like either one of them could win, but like Sand Slash would have to get really, really precise with like where it attacks. Because like if you could sever, like get up behind the chimpanzee sever some tendons, maybe like cause enough damage to where it can't move as much, then I would give Sand Slash a good shot. But if it can't deal significant damage quick enough, the Chimp's going to come out on top. Or a draw. Alright, let's see. Ninetales. Maybe. You've got the fire breathing, you've got the, magical spirit energy. I imagine Ninetales is quite fast, right? You could probably definitely outmaneuver the Chimp for a while, but, like, I'm not sure if that would be enough. It's like, run around, blasts of fire, get away. Like, apparently Ninetales is extremely, like, vengeful on creatures. Like, if the Chimp gets a hit in and Ninetales makes it, like, it's going to make it its life mission to get back at the Chimp, right? It's not going to go down without a fight. I'm just not sure if it could win that fight. Like, maybe it could. Like, I'll give Ninetales a good chance. I would say that maybe Ninetales could do it. But at the end of the day, it's a horse-sized chimpanzee. Alright. We're not getting a lot of use out of that sword, are we? Alright. Screw it, we're skipping ahead. Alakazam. Right. Alakazam, I would say, wins the fight. Easy. Like, I mean, Alakazam can levitate, he's got, like, telekinesis, extreme psychic attacks. I would say that the chimpanzee is definitely pretty weak to psychic attacks. It's a fighting type, okay? So psychic types are going to have, like, a good advantage against it. Not to mention telekinesis the sword. You can fight from afar while Alakazam gets further away and, like, launch some attacks, I would say that, like, between the psychic attacks and, the actual ability to use the sword, Alakazam definitely comes out on top. If the chimpanzee manages to burst through it and, like I said, same thing with Butterfree. One good hit on Alakazam and he's gone. But I don't think the chimpanzee is going to be able to make that hit. Okay, Rhyhorn. I mean, it's chimpanzee versus rhinoceros. I think Rhyhorn wins. Like, just from a bulk attack and defense standpoint, a Rhyhorn's coming out on top, even against a horse-sized chimpanzee. Rhinos are scary, dude. Like if they get angry, they're just gonna kill you. Like, the only thought on their mind is, that's dangerous, kill it. Only thing on a chimpanzee's mind is, I love killing, kill it. They're gonna rip each other apart, but I think that Rhydon, possibly even Rhyhorn. I think either Rhydon or Rhyhorn could take down a horse-sized chimpanzee. It wouldn't be easy. Like, you get some nasty battle scars, but I think either of them could take down a horse-sized chimpanzee with enough time. If they initiated the fight, I think they could definitely do it. If the chimp initiates the fight and manages to, like, grab hold of them, maybe not. But, I don't know. I think they could do it. Let's see. Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime is kind of like the weaker version of Alakazam. I imagine he could do the same sort of maybe telekinesis trick with the sword, throw out some sort of powerful psychic attacks. But Mr. Mime is a much more defensively based character. Like, his whole thing is he puts up, these walls. He does the mime thing, type. That whole thing. And that's cool if you're fighting, like, I don't know, a Diglett. But, like, if you're fighting a horse-sized chimpanzee, I don't know. I would say Mr. Mime could win, but I don't have much faith in him, He could use the sword, he could put up barriers, could use psychic attacks, But Mr. Mime is just sort of objectively the worst version of Alakazam in this fight. You know? Let's see. Dugong. Dugong's definitely not getting any use out of the sword, and we have to think about, like, for a lot of, like, the water-type Pokemon, like, where is this battle occurring? Is this, like, the Chimp's on land and Dugong's in the water? Are they both underwater and the Chimp can breathe and swim? Are they both on land and Dugong is just sort of, you know, flopping around? For the moment, let's assume that Dugong moves as if it is in the water, and the Chimp moves as if it is on land. So they're both in their best element. I feel like Dugong would be able to outmaneuver the Chimp, and, you know, there's a good amount of attacks it could throw off. You know, a lot of good ice attacks could potentially freeze the Chimp, but, like I said, like, status effects aren't going to do a whole lot unless they're, like, devastating. And in Gen 1, freeze is devastating. Like, if you do manage to, like, fully solidify the Chimp, like, there's nothing it's going to be able to do about it. But, like, and Dugong is pretty bulky, you know? I feel like Dugong would be able to take a hit from a horse-sized chimpanzee. And, like, I mean, Venusaur could take a hit from a horse-sized chimpanzee, but could Venusaur honestly do anything back? I don't think so. But a Dugong? Maybe. Like, it's not going to do much, but it could do something. Is that enough to win? Not sure, but Dugong's going to do something. Right. Kingler. Goodbye, Kingler. You know, I don't know, Kingler's cool. I like Kingler. But he's not winning the fight. He's got that big claw, Chimp's gonna smash Kingler to pieces. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, Kingler's a strong dude. Like, a Kingler could, like, it's a Beedrill situation. A Kingler could deal some massive damage to a horse-sized Chimp. But if the Chimp ever gets the upper hand, the fight is over. And Kingler's not that fast, really, either. I mean, he's sort of fast, but not super fast. And if the Chimp gets one good hit on him, it's gone. So, I don't know, for Beedrill and Kingler so far, it's if they manage to, like, last long enough, they could take down the Chimp. Maybe. But there is almost no situation I can see where either of them takes down the Chimp and doesn't either suffer fatal injuries or just dies trying. Seadra. Nah. Seadra's cool. Like, I don't ever use Seadra in a playthrough because it's a hassle and they're not the strong. There's way better water types. So I don't know a huge amount about Seadra, but I can tell you just looking at it, it's not gonna win. Like, it's not. The Chimp, you're gone. Not even a chance. Let's see. Could Jolteon take down a horse-sized Chimp? I would say so. I feel like Jolteon could eventually take down a horse-sized Chimp. Is it possible? Yeah. And Jolteon's got, like, crazy electric powers. Jolteon's extremely fast. You know, there's, like, you know, you don't need to be super defensive if, like, you know, if you can just do that, you know. Meanwhile, like, Thunderbolts, you know, thunder, maybe even the odd bite or two, you know, who knows? I think Jolteon could do it. Like, I honestly don't think the Chimps can be able to land a hit on Jolteon, or at least one that will matter enough. maybe a glancing blow, but like I think Jolteon's got it. And not in the bag, but could definitely do it. I'll do the legendary birds all at once. Articuno, Moltres, Zapdos, they got it. Like, it's a Charizard situation. You can fly around, you pelt the chimp with ice or electricity or fire, and eventually the chimp just runs out of options. Can't really get you. Like I said, it's the same Charizard situation, but like even worse, because like if the chimp managed to use the sword to like rip the wings, make it so they couldn't fly, Charizard at least is still a beast on the ground. But the legendary birds, if they're grounded, they're pretty much gone. So yeah, so if Charizard can definitely do it, then the legendary birds are like a step below that. They can still probably do it, but like Charizard still has a fighting chance if he gets knocked out of the sky. But the legendary birds, nope. Okay. Honestly, Dragonite, same thing. Dragonite is like the exact same situation as Charizard. Like, fly around, hyper beams, you know, gets knocked out of the sky, and still this huge, burly dragon, and could clean house. Those tiny little hands. I would say Dragonite has about an equal chance as Charizard. Possibly an even better one. Who knows? Right? Let's see. Snorlax. No. Like I understand. If a Snorlax gets angry, it's gonna get you. Like you better watch out, okay? But like Snorlax's whole thing is just being this huge mound of like vitality and defense and all that kind of stuff, and hitting hard too. But Snorlax needs to rest to like get its energy back. But this isn't a Pokemon battle. I'm not throwing. I throw a fire blast, and it tickles you a little bit. This is a horse-sized chimpanzee with a sword. You know what? Yeah, like Snorlax is like, I'm gonna rest off the damage. Like that. I understand that's gruesome, but like you gotta get your head in the game. Like, could Snorlax take a chimp down? Yeah. But the second Snorlax goes down to rest, the fight is over. Like, like, the chimp's got you. You are not making it out of that fight, Snorlax. I'm sorry. Like, you could do it. But I don't think Snorlax would do it. I think Snorlax would just think, this is just a normal Pokemon battle. And, you know, I'm just gonna rest off the damage. And then wakes up eviscerated. It's horrible. Let's see. Starmie. Yeah, I think Starmie's got it. You know, it's like Alakazam, but without the sword. You know, Alakazam without the sword, but more defense. You know, I feel like Starmie can take a good few hits from a chimp. Like, you know, I'm not sure if Starmie's made of metal, but like it doesn't seem fully organic, you know? Like, Alakazam's main drawback was that if the chimp got him at all, like, he was gone. But I mean, not only is Starmie a starfish, which have incredible regenerative abilities, but like Starmie is also like tough, you know? Like, chimp puts in a hit, Starmie's gonna walk it off, get away, more psychic attacks, you know? Like, Starmie's got it. Like, I would say Starmie and Alakazam are sort of on the same level. It's going to take longer for Starmie to defeat the chimp, but Starmie has fail-safes, you know? Starmie can fall back on its defense, whereas Alakazam just has to defeat the chimp as fast as it can. So yeah, I'd say roughly equal chances. Sea King? No. Nope. Sea King is not making it. That's a fish. That's just a normal fish. Yeah, sure, it has like water powers. That's just a fish. Sorry to the one Sea King fan out there. Sea King does not defeat the horse-sized chimpanzee. Let's see. Porygon. Now this is interesting. This is where the whole water-land debate comes in, because Porygon moves best in the digital world. Now you're saying, how's a digital Pokemon made out of code going to defeat a chimp? And moreover, how's a chimp going to defeat a Pokemon made out of code? And you could say, well, why don't you just destroy the hard drive Porygon is on? Little idiot Porygon's uploaded itself into the internet. Porygon exists at all places at once. I'm sure it can only physically manifest in one place at once. And once it does, it's not going to do a whole lot. But, there's always that thought that you could never truly destroy Porygon. But the fact is, Porygon's probably not going to be able to destroy you either, Especially if you happen to be a horse-sized chimpanzee. So I would say Porygon doesn't win, but neither does the chimp, right? Maybe Porygon can spread some really salacious information about the chimp and get it put down. Oh man, Porygon might be the chimp's toughest opponent yet. But I don't know. Yeah, okay. It's worst case scenario, it's a draw. Best case scenario, Porygon does something crazy and the chimp loses somehow. I don't know, I just don't think the chimp's ever going to truly be able to destroy Porygon. Arcanine. Arcanine's big, okay? Arcanine's a big dog. It's got like fire. But like this is like a Ninetales situation, except instead of being like fast and like intelligent, Arcanine is like big and strong and bulky. But let me be clear. A horse-sized chimpanzee is bigger and bulkier. Arcanine's cool, okay? Arcanine's cool. It's got like fire powers, but the chimp is gonna shrug that off and get you. Sorry, Arcanine, but no, chimp wins this one. Alright, Vaporeon. And I have to revisit this again, because one of Vaporeon's things is like the ability to sort of meld into water and like sort of become liquid, which could definitely help like the bum rushing element. And so if we assume Vaporeon can move as if it is in water, I think they could do it. Vaporeon might even be able to like pick up the sword like in its mouth and get that little bit of extra damage. But whereas Jolteon had the advantage of being like really fast and being able to strike from a distance, Vaporeon can still strike from a distance, right? But they're not that fast. They focus more on being a defensive sort of Pokemon. And just like we saw with like Arcanine, even if you're bulky, the chimp is bulkier. And Vaporeon gets caught, sorry. But I don't know, maybe. Alright, round out the evolutions. Flareon, no. Flareon is the smaller Arcanine. And if Arcanine couldn't do it, Flareon cannot do it either. So, darn. Let's see. Raticate. that's an interesting one. Because Eradicate is not that big, honestly. Like, it's a larger than average, slightly larger than average rat. It's got a killer bite, but can Eradicate get to a position where it can use that bite to its full effectiveness? Maybe. Because, like, if Eradicate gets, like, manages to clamp its teeth around the chimp's, like, neck or leg or, like, stomach, like, I'd say Eradicate could do it. But the problem is getting there, and I'm not sure if Eradicate can get there. You know, it's fast, but is it fast enough? And sorry, those little arms cannot hold the sword, I don't think. If it could, I don't think it would do much with it, but, like, I don't think, I think if Eradicate got into a good position, it could win. But if it couldn't, alright, let's see. Arbok. Now, Arbok is interesting. We talked a bit about how Venusaur probably wouldn't be able to use its vines to wrap up the chimp. Could Arbok use its, like, coils to wrap up the chimp? Like, I know there are some snakes out there that eat, like, you know, apes, you know, primates. You know, they wrap them up and they eat them. There's a surprising number of things that eat primates. There are birds and snakes and, you know, all that kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure a Komodo dragon would eat a primate if it saw one. But, like, I don't know. Arbok's got, like, venomous fangs. It's got the whole constrictor aspect. It's, I don't think its intimidation would really work much. Because, you know, this is a chimpanzee. A normal-sized chimpanzee probably wouldn't be scared of a cobra. It's a big cobra, but it's a big chimp. So, I don't know. It's Eradicate situation. If Arbok manages to, like, wrap up the chimp and bites it for long enough, I'd say the chimp could honestly lose. But if it can't do that, same as Eradicate, if it can't get in, can't make its plays, chimp wins. Okay, let's see. Lapras. Sure. Lapras is sort of like Blastoise, but with less shell. And, like, I mean, maybe it's possible. I'm not sure if it's possible, but it could be. You know what? I have faith in Lapras. I'll give Lapras the benefit of the doubt and say that Lapras might be able to defeat a horse-sized chimpanzee in combat. And, you know, if it does, all the more power to it. You know, they made their comeback. They're not endangered anymore. And I'd hate for the chimp to start that up again. Let's see. Ditto. So Ditto would just turn into a chimp. And now it's just chimp versus chimp. But anybody who's played Pokemon Red and Blue knows that that when a Ditto transforms into a Pokemon, it's pretty much objectively weaker in every way. So, I mean, same attacks, but, like, less base stats that they're coming off of. So, you've just got two chimps, like, going at it, but, like the Ditto isn't going to be able to keep it up forever. And the real chimp knows it. Like, the chimp sees this, like, big pink mirror image of itself, and it thinks, and it's like, and it's gonna keep fighting. It's not gonna give up, and eventually Ditto is going to give out. Like, the chimp's uncontrollable rage will not be stopped by a Ditto with the same uncontrollable rage. You know, that chimp is not backing down, and Ditto's gonna eventually fall. It's sad but true. I mean, if we say that Ditto could turn into like a Charizard or an Alakazam, maybe. But like, if we're going by like game logic where Ditto can only transform into the Pokemon nearest to it, sure, Ditto transforms into a chimp and eventually loses. If Ditto pulls some sort of sneaky mind-bending trick out of nowhere and like outsmarts the chimp and gets some crazy move on it, maybe by like reverting at an unexpected time and then reforming behind it, and like maybe Ditto might be able to do it, but in a fair fight, Ditto loses. Alright. Parasect. Nope. Squish. Squash like a bug. Squash like the bug it is. I mean, Parasect does have the only 100% accurate sleep move in the game. But, like, I'm not sure. Because, for one, Parasect is slow. For two, Parasect is weak. Like, it can't do much. Like, if its sleep moves don't work, we've already established this chimpanzee is on something different, man. Like, this chimp is crazy. Parasect can't do that. Not much more it can do. If it does put the chimp to sleep, snip, snip. Feed the mushroom, dude. But if it can't, chimp wins. And I would give the chimp a very good chance of winning. Okay, Venomoth. Venomoth is like the more powerful Butterfree. Unfortunately, the more powerful version of Butterfree is still very weak. Venomoth has more psychic powers, more powerful status, more bulk, I guess, but at the end of the day, the more powerful version of an ant is a slightly bigger ant. But if you're fighting a bird, like, you're gonna need a pretty big ant, and Venomoth is not a very big ant. Okay, Dugtrio. Sort of a Sandshrew situation, like, if they, Dugtrio's fast, very fast. And so you could say you've got the speed of Jolteon and like the stealth attacking potential of Sandslash. Problem is, Dugtrio doesn't have big claws like Sandslash. So I would say that Dugtrio would definitely be able to outmaneuver the chimp. But I don't think they'd be able to do a huge amount. They'd give the chimp some nasty bruises. I mean, they might even be able to like break its legs. But, and I don't know, like if the chimp tries to attack, like slam its hand down, I don't think they'd be able to get it, honestly. But I don't know, Diglett can like scratch and stuff, but like it's not like it's gonna be able to do a huge amount of like super impactful damage. So I don't know. Dugtrio, I think, would end in a draw. Jinx. Alright, Jinx has like the freezing potential of Dugong, the psychic potential of like, I think she's more on like a Mr. Mime level than an Alakazam level. And she's got arms, so I would say she can use the sword. Will it mean a whole lot? I'm not sure, but like, even if like she managed to partially incapacitate the chimp, whether with the psychic abilities, the ice abilities, I think you get that sword. Jinx is a cold-hearted snake. Will not hesitate. So I'd give Jinx a good chance of winning. I think Jinx can do it. Does Jinx have it in the bag? I don't know, but could Jinx do it? Absolutely. I think Jinx could absolutely do it. Let's see. Tauros. I'm not exactly sure how large Tauros is, but like, I imagine Tauros is the size of a bull, and bulls are huge. Like I haven't talked to a whole lot of people about it, but like when you think of a cow, like what do you think of? You think of like, oh, it's a farm animal. It's a peaceful little farm animal. Cows are enormous. Like I probably should have said this earlier with like the horse size idea, because I don't know how many people have seen a horse, but like horses are giant, and cows are even bigger. Like a big cow is huge, and this isn't like a dairy cow. Like Tauros is like a full-on water buffalo. Like Tauros is gonna do something horrible to you if you ever make it angry. And that chimp is pretty provoking, you know? So Tauros, I would say, reasonably be bigger than the chimp. But the chimp's got, like, more dexterity, and it has a sword. So, like, if Tauros gets in fast, gores the chimp, and Tauros is pretty fast. I would say Tauros has a good chance of, like, just absolutely wrecking the chimp. The chimp's gonna, like, fight back in its final moments. It's gonna, you know, stab and claw and rip and tear. But Tauros, I think Tauros could do it. Would not come away unscathed. Absolutely not. But I think Tauros could do it. But if the chimp does manage to, you know, finagle its way out of that and, you know, attack with the sword, Tauros might not make it. I feel like I kind of have made the chimp a little overpowered by giving it the sword, but I don't know. But that's all about to change, because Machamp is up next. Machamp isn't horse-sized, but it does have 4 arms, and the chimp only has 2. And they can both use the sword. Chimp's got a sword, Machamp's got a sword. Chimp's got a free hand for, like, grappling. Champ has 3 hands for grappling, right? You know, the chimp's gonna rush at him, but Champ's gonna do the same. Lock blades, lock arms, and then Champ still has 2 more up here, and just smacks the chimp like that. You know, reeling back, suplex, finishing move. I think Machamp could do it. Machamp is definitely at a little bit of a disadvantage, size disadvantage, but I think Machamp has way more utility with, like, the 4 arms. I think Machamp could do it. Like, with that sword, Machamp's got a great chance at this. You know? Let's see. Victory Bell. Nope. Victory Bell, again, status spreader, not fast, not especially bulky. Like, Victory Bell is not getting the chimp to go inside the pitcher. And even if it did, it's got a sword. Yikes. Would not want to be a Victory Bell in that situation. But, yeah, Victory Bell, sorry. Let's see. Clefable. Could Clefable do it? I've never seen a Clefable fly with its, like, little wings, and so I don't imagine it can. Clefables, like, you know, they sing, they do metronome, they throw out some okay attacks, but, like, I don't really know. I personally, in my mind, I do not see a Clefable beating a horse-sized chimpanzee, especially if the horse-sized chimpanzee has a sword. Sorry, yeah. Wigglytuff, same situation. I mean, like, Wigglytuff is already, like, the objectively worst Clefable in every single aspect. So, like, if Clefable can't do it, there's no way in hell Wigglytuff can do it. Let's see. My bad. Oh, there's an ambulance. I hope the person's okay. Onyx. Could Onyx beat a horse-sized chimpanzee? Now, slept on fact. Onyx is enormous, like, and made of rocks. Onyx is both enormous and made of rocks, and has both of those things going for it, right? So, like, but again, this is like a same sort of situation. If you've played the game, you know. Onyx sucks. Onyx is cool. I like Onyx. Onyx is great, but he sucks so bad. Like, I don't know if he's like structurally superfluous, like with those rocks being stuck together, but Onyx just drops. And it's slow. Onyx does like great defense, but like Onyx is slow, Onyx is weak, Onyx is not that guy. So it's like an Arbok situation. If Onyx gets, the chimp, gets him wrapped up, I'd say Onyx could do it. Just squeeze him. And I would say Onyx has a better chance of getting in than Arbok. But the problem is, Arbok might be able to take a hit. Onyx might be able to take a hit. But Arbok is going to be able to get away if he takes a hit. Onyx, I do not think Onyx is getting away if it takes a hit. Like, the chimp's just gonna climb up Onyx and just start like bashing in his face. Like, and Onyx can like head slam or whatever, but like Onyx is not a big damage dealer, okay? Like, if Onyx gets caught, I think that's it. Raichu, maybe. I don't know. Raichu's like this slower, weaker Jolteon. And like, Jolteon was great. Jolteon did extremely well. But could Raichu do the same thing Jolteon did with like being sort of objectively worse in most ways? Maybe. I'd give Raichu a chance. Not a huge chance, but I'd give Raichu a chance. Chance to prove himself. I don't have huge faith in him, but I will give him that chance, just because Raichu is so much like Jolteon. We're on electric type screen because Electrode is up next. Now, Electrode is the fastest Pokemon in the game, base stats wise. And I don't know, Electrode's got some okay attacks, but Electrode's main thing is exploding, right? Like, so the best Electrode's going to really be able to hope for is a draw, because that's Electrode's big finishing move, exploding. But it's like, so either Electrode's just going to try and chip away and try and do enough before getting caught and just like crushed like a can of soda, or he's going to explode and take himself and the chimp out. So like, yeah, Electrode doesn't win, but there is a sizable probability that the chimp also doesn't win. So Electrode could very easily force a draw. And I would say about the same thing for Golem. Golem's got, Golem could do a bit more damage, I would say. And Golem could definitely take a lot more hits than Electrode. But the problem is, Golem is so much slower, So Golem is just going to be taking those hits and just going to have to be tanking them and just trying to attack back and get them to the point where they could explode and take out the chimp. So I would also say Electrode has a better chance than Golem, which is just sad. But neither one of them wins. But I don't think neither one of them wins. But an Electrode has a better chance of making the chimp not win either. But Golem still has a very decent chance. Okay. Let's see. Vileplume. Nope. Vileplume's like the weaker Venusaur. You know, same thing. Spread the status. Wrap them up in vines. Do your Peladance. You know, but not gonna work. Yeah. Again, Vileplume's cool. I like Vileplume, but it's not happening. That's gonna all change with Executor. Executor is great. Okay? Well, Executor's got, you know, Executor can take some hits. Executor is like comparable in size to the horse-sized chimpanzee. So, you know, Executor is going to be able to launch off these powerful psychic attacks and decimate the chimp's mind. You know, I don't know, like, you know, with those psychic abilities, I'm not sure if Executor's ever displayed telekinesis, but it might even be able to use the sword. Like, now the chimp with the sword, like, Executor's a tree, right? And it walks on those 2 little legs. If the chimp doesn't have damage to the legs, Executor's not going to be able to move much, and then the heads are in danger. But as long as Executor is moving, like, it's shoom, shoom, shoom from those 3 heads, the chimp is feeling the burn, dude. Let's see. Okay. Dodrio? Okay. We're gonna put... Let me just rattle off a few flying types, okay? Farfetch'd, Dodrio, Pidgeot, you know, Fearow, you know, all wonderful Pokemon, dear to my heart, you know, great. But these are all just so normal. Like, they don't have crazy ice powers. They're not going to be able to, like, pull off their super secret move where they destroy you. Same thing, they could carpet bomb. They could come down, they could pull off the Beedrill strategy for a while, and some of them would do a little bit better at it than others. But these 4 Pokemon are really not making it. Like, they're not able to damage the chimp enough, and eventually they will go down. So, sorry to Pidgeot, Dodrio, Farfetch'd, and Fearow, but yeah, it's not really happening, man. Let's see. Let's see. I got that. Tangela. Nope. We established back in Venusaur that the wrapping pin vines isn't going to do much. Like, Arbok constricting and Onyx constricting, now that could do something. But Venusaur, you know, Vileplume and Tangela type constricting, nope. Yeah, so, no, Tangela, not making it. Alright. Let's see, Cloyster. Now that's something I can get behind. Cloyster. Alright? Cloyster. Huge defense. Huge HP. You know, some beefy attack stats. You know, grab, you've got the horn, you've got the clamping. You can grab the chimp. You can get him in it. You can just, you know, pummel him with these attacks, crush him. Might even be able to disarm him, honestly. Like crush his hand and he can't use the sword anymore. Cloyster can't use the sword, of course. But, like, yeah, I give Cloyster a great chance of defeating the chimp. It's like a Blastoise situation. It's Blastoise if instead of being offensively inclined, they were defensively inclined, you know? Yeah. And honestly, if the chimp can't get through Cloyster's defense, whatever. Like, now you could say, oh, the chimp can just grab and like that. Okay, but what's the chimp going to do once it does that? You can say, oh, well, it maybe picks up the sword with like its foot and attacks him. You think Cloyster's going to let that slide? No. Cloyster is a badass. Cloyster is like, I couldn't care less. And pow, right in the foot, right in the face with like some sludge or some ice or some water, Cloyster's got you, man. Cloyster has your back. You don't want to get on Cloyster's bad side. That being the inside. Let's see. Tentacruel? Not feeling it. Tentacruel's cool, don't get me wrong. But Tentacruel does not have outstanding defense or really that great of. Tentacruel's good offense, It's a great guy. But can he take down a horse-sized chimpanzee? No, Tentacruel cannot take down a horse-sized chimpanzee. It's disappointing. I wish Tentacruel could take down a horse-sized chimpanzee, but he just can't. And we have to accept that fact. Some people have limitations, even when those people are, jellyfish. Not all of us can defeat a horse-sized chimpanzee. Now, I don't know how strong Tentacruel's tentacles are, right? Maybe he could pick up the sword and use it. But is that a chance gamble you're willing to make? Can Tentacruel really be trusted to use the sword? I'm sure Tentacruel could deal some serious damage, with or without the sword, but still, like, Chimp gets in, it's over. Let's see. Muck. Ew. Yeah. Can Muck do it? I don't see the Chimp as being able to do too much damage to Muck. Like, tear it apart, like, because, chimps tear stuff apart. I don't know, Muck's just sort of a sludge, so nothing really to tear. Stab him? That's not going to do a whole lot. Muck probably just eats the Chimp's sword, and gets bigger. I don't know, do you, like, try and pick it up and throw it? I don't know, you're just gonna muck on your fingers. Muck's not fast, but Muck is just difficult to damage. And even if you do damage him, it's difficult to significant damage. Could the Chimp do it? Maybe, but like, I don't see it really happening. I think that Muck would be able to whittle down the Chimp eventually, and like sort of like sicken or dissolve or just sort of wear down the Chimp. But for the most part, I'm not feeling that the Chimp makes it. But I feel like it would take so long for Muck to actually take down the Chimp that the Chimp honestly might just be able to evade the Muck long enough for it to be a draw. But I don't think the Chimp could take down Muck. I think Muck could take down the Chimp, but I do not think the Chimp could take down Muck. Let's see. Need to get more poison types. Hypno. Hypno's got psychic, Ataxi. I mean, he's got his hypnosis, which really probably honestly wouldn't do a whole lot. We've established that. He's bulky, but he's not strong, and he's not like super defensive. He just could take some hits. And, like preferably no Pokemon wants to take a hit. And relying too much on your ability to take a hit, unless you're like Cloyster, right? Taking a hit is bad no matter what. If you're Cloyster, then it's like, I can take 1,000,000 hits, throw them at me. Come on. But if you're a Hypno, it's like, yeah, I could survive 1 or 2 hits. But like, if that happens, like I can't do anything back. So is it really worth it? I don't think so. I think Hypno should stay out of this one. Like I said, Hypno could do it. Like, Psychic Pokemon have a natural advantage against this Chimp. This Chimp has no idea what's going on. Like, it's seeing red, okay? But Hypno's focused. Hypno's in the moment. But if that ends, say goodbye. Let's see. Let's think about this one. Golbat. No. Golbat is going to use like the same strategy as, the flying types we talked about. Except Golbat's just somehow even weaker. It's like, sure, I'm going to swoop down, I'm going to take a couple bites, you're going to drain your life essence. The chimp could not care less. The chimp just... Golbat's not making it. Sorry, Golbat. Persian. Could Persian do it? No. Persian's just a cat. Persian's a cat with like really sharp claws. And like, it's good at biting things. And it's fast. But could Persian like take down a horse-sized chimpanzee with a sword? No. Sorry. Let's see. Wheezing. No. Wheezing is sort of an Electrode Golem situation, but whereas Electrode was fast and Golem was tough, Wheezing is just sort of... Wheezing is kind of just nothing. Like, Wheezing has no big advantage. Weezer is balanced in its stats, but can it really do a whole lot to the chimp before exploding? Maybe, but like, I don't think so. Like, sure, put out some poison, put out some smoke screens, attack it while you can, but eventually Wheezing is going to just blow up. And best case scenario, that is a draw. Alright, let's think about this. Let's see. Slowbro. Slowbro's got some psychic attacks. Slowbro's decently bulky, and even if the chimp is like wrecking him, tearing him up, Slowbro's not really going to notice at all, And so Slowbro's just going to be able to keep pumping out attacks and attacking the chimp. It's like, I talked about how if Hypno gets attacked, even though he can take some hits, like, he's not going to be able to do much in return as the chimp destroys him. But Slowbro has that little buffer period where like that pseudo inability to feel pain, and he might be able to do just enough as the chimp attacks him to take him down. So I think Slowbro could do it. Do I think he absolutely does it? No. But do I think he has a decent chance of doing it? Yeah. Let's see. Aerodactyl. Okay, so Aerodactyl is like the weak flying types, except actually strong. Okay. Aerodactyl would probably be able to take a few hits. Aerodactyl's fast. Aerodactyl's got some strong attacks. Aerodactyl's good at a lot of things. Could Aerodactyl like do significant enough damage to take down the chimp? Not quickly, but eventually, sure, yeah. I think Aerodactyl could do it. But will Aerodactyl do it? That's up for debate. But Aerodactyl goes for the throat. That's a pretty big throat on that horse-sized chimpanzee. Let's see. Omastar. No. Nope. Omastar's got some defense, but defense isn't really worth anything if you can't back it up. And Omastar's cool. I like Omastar, but there's not much it's going to do apart from be able to take some hits, and eventually that's going to run out. Kabutops. Kabutops is like the opposite. It's going to be able to like dish out some damage, but a few good hits and Kabutops is down. Like, we could make the Sand Slash argument, because like if Kabutops manages to like, you know, get you good, like the chimp might be like crippled for the rest of the fight. But if Kabutops is going to have like trouble getting to that position where it can actually do that, and if it can't do that, that does not look good, you know. Let's see. Nidoking. I'm not sure how big Nidoking is, but Nidoking is not horse-sized, I can tell you that. Attacking Nidoking at all is gonna like deal something bad to you. Like, you're gonna feel awful. Like, Nidoking's like covered in those poison spikes. It's like, you attack him, he turns, hand full-on poison, like a stonefish, you know? It's like, you know, like, now you're like poisoned. Like the chimp's not really gonna react much because, you know, it's a chimpanzee. Like, those things get shot with like tranquilizers and shrug it off. They say, I don't care. But no, so maybe Nidoking could eventually take down the chimp, but I don't have a huge amount of faith in Nidoking. Nidoqueen, sadly, even less so, because Nidoking's more about attack, Nidoqueen's more about defense, and like, even though Nidoqueen is more defensive, like, it's not primarily defensive. I don't know if that made sense. It's like, Nidoqueen has better defense than Nidoking, but it's not Cloyster. It's no Cloyster, okay? It's a defense-based build that could take more hits than the average Pokemon, but not against a chimp. Sorry, Nidoqueen. I'd say she could do it. Like, yeah. You know what? I have decent faith in Nidoking. I've got more faith in Nidoking just based on how poisonous and strong it is. And Nidoqueen is not far behind, right? But it's defense-based. And against a chimp, that doesn't really mean a whole lot. Let's see. Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan. Nope. Well, hold on. They could use the swords, definitely. Like, I'd say Hitmonchan has a better chance of using the sword than Hitmonlee. But then again, well, for Hitmonlee, you could use the sword, attack with the feet, and now you've basically got 3 great attacking sources, you know? Yeah, so actually, but then Hitmonlee's arms would be a little bit weaker than Hitmonchan, so I'd say Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan have an equal chance of taking down the chimp, but I don't know, neither of them are a very bulky Pokemon. They're strong, and like I said, they can use the sword, which makes them even stronger, but I don't know. Like, in a sword fight with a horse-sized chimpanzee, I don't think they're strong enough. I think they're going to deal, like, some awful damage to the chimp. The chimp is not coming out of either of those fights looking good. But is it enough to take down the chimp? Possibly. If they get really lucky and don't get, like, hit too hard. Sure. But, yeah. I think the chimp wins those. Not easily, but the chimp wins. Okay? Let's see. Primeape? I don't see it. Like, alright, we're talking ape versus ape here, right? Alright. Except one of them is horse-sized, and one of them is having heart palpitations. Primeape shouldn't be fighting a horse-sized chimpanzee. He should be in the medical ward getting his pacemaker installed. But I don't know. Like, Primeape's cool. but no, it's not happening. Okay. Let's see. Lickitung. Okay, if Wigglytuff was the worst Clefable, then Lickitung is the worst Wigglytuff. You know? It just goes down and down. You know, and eventually there's just nothing at the bottom but Lickitung. And Lickitung is not doing it, dude. Nope. I know. It's so sad. But Chansey. Chansey is like Snorlax, but doesn't need to sleep to heal itself. Like, Chansey's one tough cookie, you know? Not defensive, but definitely HP intensive, you know? And can heal on the fly, you know? Just eat the egg. Chansey's got a great special, like, and we've established that the chimp is a fighting type, and so generally it's not going to have a great special defense. So if Chansey can like face tank the chimp's attacks and manage to heal off enough damage to get the specials out, I think Chansey could do it. You know, is it possible? Yeah. Is it probable? It might even be probable. Yeah. But like, does the chimp still have a good chance? Yes. Let's see. What other Pokemon should I talk about? Let's see. I feel like I'm gonna miss like a Pokemon, and then I'm just gonna like kick myself about it later and be like, oh, I can't believe I forgot about that one. Such as Magneton. Could Magneton do it? No. Magneton's defensively based, but say it again. If you're not Cloyster, don't be defensively based. If you're not Cloyster or Rhydon, don't be defensively based. Like, and you could say, oh, Magneton can use like electricity. I don't think that's gonna happen, dude. Like, Magneton is gonna get disassembled. Say goodbye. Maybe don't you cry. Magmar and Electabuzz. No. Magmar and Electabuzz are like big Pokemon, but they aren't like, they're big next to a human. But a horse is massive next to a human. And like, you could say, oh, Magmar's got like these great fire powers, and Electabuzz has these great electricity powers. And I would say that's great. They could definitely deal some substantial damage to the chimp. And you know what? I am willing to give both of them the benefit of the doubt and say both of them can use the sword. And in that case, like, especially in Electabuzz's case, like, that's some electric sword. Magmar, I don't see like enchanted sword or anything, but like, I don't know, like, hey, maybe, just maybe. But like, they're gonna walk up with the sword. Electabuzz is gonna like walk up with the sword all electrified, and it's gonna be like, all right, who am I going against? And then the horse-sized chimpanzee is gonna lumber out and like tower above him, and Electabuzz is gonna be like, please don't hurt me. You know, that's how it's gonna go. Like, if I was Magmar or Electabuzz and I saw a horse-sized chimpanzee with a sword, by the way, coming towards me, I'd give up. I'd run away. Like, you've heard the phrase, pick your fights. Like, don't pick that one if you're Magmar or Electabuzz. Okay, but, you know, what about my guy Pinsir? Could he do it? No. If Magmar and Electabuzz can't do it, Pinsir can definitely not do it. Scyther. Now we're talking. So you know how like Beedrill was like struggling to deal significant damage, but like could fly and carpet bomb? So Scyther is like the better Beedrill, like a lot better. Like, Beedrill could deal some nasty damage, but Scyther could deal some lethal damage. Like if the chimpanzee came out of Beedrill's fight badly injured, Scyther could actually win. It's like Scyther can take more hits, can deal more damage, is way faster, so like is more maneuverable. I think Scyther could do it. Like, I would not put it past Scyther to win that fight, and that's amazing. That's a win for Scyther. Great work. Let's see. I'm definitely nearing the end of this Pokemon list. Nope, not that one. Gyarados. I think Gyarados could do it. You're getting like the wrapping action of Onix, water action that you're getting flying. You know, you're getting some Dragon Rage and Hyper Beams thrown at you. I don't know. Gyarados is maneuverable and strong. Is the chimp gonna take its sword to Gyarados and attack it relentlessly if it ever gets in range? Sure, but Gyarados is big. Like, I know a horse is big, but a Gyarados is big and tough. You know, I have faith in Gyarados. I think Gyarados can do it. Not without contest, but Gyarados could do it. Let's see. Gengar. My guy Gengar. It's always so hard to talk about if a ghost Pokemon would realistically win or lose a fight, because like in Pokemon, like it's a whole thing of like a ghost type cannot be hit by a normal or fighting type attack. And this chimpanzee, I'll be honest, does not have any attacks that are not normal or fighting. Like, come on. So This is no longer a question of can a Gengar beat a horse-sized chimpanzee. This is a question of can any sized chimpanzee beat a Gengar? And honestly, no. The Gengar eats the chimpanzee's soul and laughs about it. Sorry, horse-sized chimpanzee. The Gengar has got you good. Let's see. I know that's not all the Pokemon. I know there's some left. I know there's at least 2 left. Come on. Might as well knock them out now. Okay. Mewtwo? Yeah, okay. Mewtwo defeats the chimp. If Alakazam, like, defeated the chimp, Mewtwo bodies the chimp. Like that chimp is no more after Mewtwo's done with it. Mewtwo, like, snaps its finger and the chimp's brain explodes. Right? Like, there's nothing left of the chimp after Mewtwo's done with it. Mewtwo's uncontrollable rage defeats the chimp's uncontrollable rage. Unfortunately. Mew? I'm not so sure. Because Mew does not have the uncontrollable rage. But Mew just is so infinitely potentiated that I feel like Mew could just... Because Mew's a strange case. Because I know I've been sort of avoiding the subject, but like for example, a ton of normal type Pokemon can learn Psychic, right? And we've established that the chimp is probably weak to psychic type attacks. So you would say, well, why doesn't every creature that can just use a psychic type attack just use that and defeat the chimp? Because that's boring. Because then it would just be, all right, every creature that can learn a psychic type attack and can avoid the chimp long enough to get it off can destroy the chimp. That's boring, you know? And so I want to stick to, I don't know, a more realistic view of the Pokemon. Like, what moves would Persian have? What moves would Charmander have? What would a Chansey be having in the wild? Like, what could a Clefable honestly do? You know, I want to think about, like, what are the moves that really shape and define the Pokemon? And I don't just want to say, oh, the Pokemon has this move because I want it to win. Because that, like I said, that's so boring. But with Mew, you really can't say that because that is Mew's whole thing. Learning every single move. And having the DNA of all of Pokemon, you know? So I would just... So yeah. I guess Mew just by default wins because every attack that, you know, every attack that was effective against the chimp, Mew could just say, well, Mew has that attack. And Mew's got great stats. Like, Mew is a tiny little thing. You know, it's been hiding under that truck for, what, a good 30 years? Like, not a good 30 years. At least 20 years. At least 25 years, you know? You know, it has not been working out, but it's still cleans house. The chimp loses to Mew. It's a cheap answer, but it loses to Mew because everything that every other Pokemon did well against the chimp, Mew can do too. Also, Mew flies, so, you know, kind of a hard counter. Really am running out of Pokemon. What other Pokemon are in the game? I really hate to do this, but I am going to have to end the video here. If I miss any Pokemon, I will make another little part that I will stitch onto this, like a little Frankenstein tumor. And I'll be honest, I probably did miss like one weird Pokemon that I just forgot about because I never ever use it when I play Red and Blue. Oh, sorry, Ponyta. Ponyta is horse-sized. Sure. Well, they're both like horses, but Ponyta is faster and has firepower, so, Ponyta wins. Maybe. They're more equal, but I'd say Ponyta has a slight advantage, so I'd say Ponyta wins more than it loses. Almost didn't catch that one, but I'm sure there's others. Maybe I just need to say that. Oh, Kangaskhan. Yeah, Kangaskhan. I'm not sure how big Kangaskhan is. That's the trick. I just need to say, I guess that's it, and then I'll remember a Pokemon. Yeah, Kangaskhan. I think the chimp takes Kangaskhan's baby and uses it as leverage to make Kangaskhan forfeit. And Kangaskhan loses for forfeits. But has a decent chance if the chimp can't get the baby. Alright. So, alright. If this is it, that's great. But if it's not it, then the tumor video will be coming very soon. Alright? Yeah. If the tumor doesn't happen, good morning, good evening, good night. I'd like to offer a formal apology to my good friends Polly, Whirl, and Golduck. You know, I've known them for a very long time, and you know, it was a severe and continuous lapse in my memory that I forgot about them. Unfortunately, I'm going to disappoint them further because neither of them win. A duck and a frog walk into a bar. There's a horse-sized chimpanzee. The horse-sized chimpanzee is the only one to walk out of the bar. Like, you know what? Just as a special gift, just because I forgot, Poliwhirl and Golduck. Could Poliwhirl and Golduck, working together, take down a horse-sized chimpanzee? You know what? Just because I'm feeling so remorseful, let's Psyduck, Golduck, Poliwag, Poliwhirl, and Poliwrath. Sorry, Poliwrath. I'd like to restate my apology to my very good friends Poliwrath and Golduck. I always loved you. I never forgot about you. I was saving you for this special tumor video. Poliwrath, Poliwhirl, Poliwag, Psyduck, and Golduck all working together to take down one horse-sized chimpanzee. Can they do it? No, they're all water types. So maybe if they're near a body of water, or they can just create water. I don't know how that works in Pokemon. I'm trying to be realistic here. Realistic as 5 little animals fight a horse-sized chimpanzee. Alright. They could all theoretically work together to raise up enough water, and as we all know, in water, chimps will drown. So yeah, working together, I'd say that the 5 of them have a okay chance of defeating the chimp. So you know what? It's not all bad for you, Golduck and Poliwrath. Most of the time, like on your own, no, not a chance. But you know, with your pre-evolutions and all of you working together, I think you could do it. So good job, Golduck and Poliwrath. You did it. I always knew you could. Well, that was great. You know, now you know that if you're ever find yourself stranded in the Pokemon world, but in through another portal comes a horse-sized chimpanzee, you know exactly which Pokemon to defend you from the horse-sized chimpanzee if you ever come to blows. I'm glad to have provided this necessary service to you, and you know, stay safe out there from horse-sized chimpanzees wielding swords. Peace.